would you accept a pastorate at a church whose doctrinal statement does not uphold Calvinistic theology, you name whatever theology that you hold to?
Sure.
Where do you draw the line?
I did. I mean, this was essentially a church started by a Methodist Arminian. So I just said, let me at it. You know, I mean, I'm not looking for the church that doesn't need me. I think you have to ask yourself, of course, the problem is that they might not take you. But, you know, you can talk about it. You know, guys go in and say, this is what I believe. Do you believe this? This is what here's my doctrinal statement. Boom. You know, come on, take a challenge, right? I mean, go in there and teach the Word and see what God might do to change the things that need to be changed. And be patient and love those people. And they're not going to roll over for you. I mean, come on. They've got history. They got background. And, you know, what the biggest problem you're going to have when you go into a church that's had a little bit of a different theology, philosophy of ministry, or something greatly different, is that you're going to instantly expose the people who have been the champions of all of that in the past. So whoever the board members were that believed that way, whoever the teachers are that taught that way, all of a sudden, I mean, they're exposed as having been in error. And how they handle that is the key to whether you're going to survive. If they rise up like Diotrephes and want to have the preeminence, they'll make life so miserable for you there, you may not survive it. So find who they are and love them to death. Love the socks off those people and be very patient with those people and try to endear yourself to them. But look, we can't just keep going round and round in musical chairs in churches that believe everything we believe. You know, people said that to me early in my ministry. Why did you speak there and why did you speak over there? And I said, I'm just following the lead of Bob Jones. Bob Jones, yeah, he told me one day he'd go to Vatican if the Pope didn't tell him what to say. So, I'm not talking about the golfer, by the way. I'm talking about the other Bob Jones. But I've always said, you know, what is a greater challenge than to go into a church that's saying we need help? And go in there and in a sweet and gracious and patient, in the meekness and gentleness of Christ fashion, you go in there and change. Look at, I mean, what was Paul doing? Even though Paul was the founder of his churches, in most cases, he had to go back and correct things all the time in those churches, all the time. They weren't things related to church tradition. They were things related to pagan tradition that were hanging on. But that's what we do. You know, that's what we do. We chase after the wandering sheep, and we bind up the wounded and the broken, and we fix them. And I think that's the joy of ministry. And when you get on the other side of all of that, you're just thankful for what you've seen the Lord do. So I wouldn't hesitate on that. And I wouldn't necessarily go in and dump everything I believe on a poor group of people who haven't got an idea about some of these things. I mean, you go into a pulpit committee and all they want is a pastor that will love them and accept them and embrace them and help them grow spiritually and help them have an impact in the community. And you don't want to hit them in the side of the head with a limited atonement kind of speech, really. That's just not sensible. Give them time to absorb the fact that they can trust you before they're going to trust you for things that dramatically affect how they've thought in the past. You need to earn that trust.
Last kind of question.
But the one thing you do want to say is, I'm coming to teach the Bible, and let's agree that whatever the Word tells us to do, that's where we're going.